When comparing your simulations in simcision, the evaluation area is immensely helpful. Let's dive in and see what it can do. The evaluation area helps you understand and compare the simulations you've run in simcision. So, we'll start with a completed model where multiple simulations have already been performed. As soon as you have at least one simulation, the evaluation area becomes useful. Go ahead and open the Evaluation tab now. By default, we start in a Special Evaluation Chart tab, linked to the currently loaded simulation in the Simulation tab. You can change the selected simulation in the top left, which will also update the simulation in the Simulation tab. But for now, let's leave this special tab aside. Instead, let's create a new chart by clicking the little plus button on the top chart bar. Great! This is our first chart. Now let's decide what it should display. We followed a different strategy for choosing our actions in each simulation run, so every simulation will have different results. The most obvious choice is to create a chart to compare the simulation results. We have two options now. Either configure the chart manually, or use one of the pre-built configuration starters, which offers a quick setup for commonly used charts. In this video I want to walk through all the steps, so we'll go the manual route. There are 3 steps. Step 1. Choose a chart type. We have 4 chart type categories that each have their strengths and weaknesses. For comparing simulations, a line chart works well. Step 2. Select the simulations to include in the chart. By default, the currently open simulation from the Simulations tab is pre-selected. That works in many cases, but since I want to compare multiple simulations, I will need to add more. I can either manually add each one, or select the option All Simulations to include them all at once. A great thing about this option is that any future simulations I create will be added to the chart automatically. Step 3. Choose the data to display. These are the variables from your model. We can see how their values changed over time during the simulations. Let's select an element from our model. And that's it. We've completed the 3 steps and created our first chart. It already works well, but we can make further adjustments. We could add more elements, for example. Line charts support multiple elements at the same time. To differentiate them, we can change their colors. Each simulation is represented by an icon, which you can also customize. Let's choose icons with more contrasting shapes. Additionally, we can assign different colors to each element, depending on the simulation. Click the small arrow next to the color to adjust it per simulation. Now let's focus on the chart itself. We have markers that show us the state of each element at the start and end of each round. If you hover over a marker, you get detailed information about the value. Below the chart, you'll find intervention bars for each simulation. These bars help track the actions and events that occurred during each time step, making it easier to understand why values changed at specific points. If needed, you can display a chart legend to better help you read the chart. And a lot of a chart can be customized via the Chart Settings menu on the top right. Now let's explore different chart types. Depending on the type, you can control what appears on each axis. Since line charts have fewer settings, let's switch to a bar chart to see some interesting variations. We'll also focus on just one simulation to make the chart easier to read. Now we have a simple bar chart, showing the value over time of a single element during a simulation. The colored areas highlight how much the value changed compared to the last simulation round. If we switch the y-axis to status change, these highlighted areas are realigned, making it easier to identify the rounds with the most significant value changes. The next question will be, why did the value change that much in this round? You could analyze the intervention bars below the chart, but there's an easier way. Switch the y-axis to impulses. In this stacked chart, you can see all different value changes to the element grouped by type. By hovering over the stacks, you can find out exactly where the changes came from. We have impact changes that were transmitted over impact relations in the model, event effects, and action effects. These overlays make it easier to understand what influences affects your elements the most. Instead of viewing these impulses over time, you can also view this as an aggregated view for all target elements, for example, by changing the x-axis. This allows you to see at a glance what drove the most change per element. In our case, the technical competencies were quite mostly directly affected by outside forces, while the impact on project outcome was largely indirectly influenced through relation impulses. Another chart that is largely underused is the effect chart. Change the y-axis to effect, and you can choose an action activation of the current simulation. The blue bars now represent the direct effects on the model values that came into the model because of this action. The green bars are all indirect effects, values that increased in the following rounds because this action was activated. This reminds us that we often only look at the directly visible effects of our actions, but neglect to see the long-term indirect consequences that affect us. And as you can see in this example, they can be immense. Let's have a quick look at the two remaining chart types before I show you something different. These last chart types are radial, which is a useful chart type to show a data impression in a compact way. First up, the spider chart. Use this to give the state of your model a shape. What is really cool here is the ability to compare different rounds of one simulation. Lastly, the pie chart. Basically a compact version of a bar chart in radial form, but I like comparing the difference between two rounds here. For example, you can see that between quarter 15 and 20, the model lost some points in digitization and infrastructure anchoring. Play around with these charts and find one that contains the information you're after. Or let yourself be surprised by information you were not after. To close it up, let me just show you two things you can do with your completed charts. Point 1. Use chart overviews. These are screens where multiple charts can be displayed together in one place. Right-click on the plus icon in the chart bar to create one. We are greeted with a screen of 4 chart places. We can load in 4 charts there that we created beforehand. And you can override the chart settings here on the screen. They won't affect the original chart. And there's more than this 2x2 layout. You can set the chart configurations by using the Layouts menu from the tab Context menu. This is also a great way to show a completed chart without the pesky configuration sidebar. Point 2. Open the Chart tab Context menu and, from there, export your charts as image to use them in presentations on social media or print it out for your memory collection. You can adjust the chart to your custom dimensions here and get an image that fits your target optimally. Beats resizing the browser window and making screenshots. As you can see, simcision isn't just about easy-to-use modeling and interactive simulations. It also gives you powerful tools to explore and present your model data in a highly customizable way. And now you know how to do this too. Don't forget to check out the final video in this series, Analyzing Your Model. While this video focused on comparing and understanding simulation data, that one will introduce useful tools for analyzing your model itself. Thank you for watching. And remember, every model is wrong, but yours can be useful.